In the autoregressive model, a time series is represented by its lagged values. In a similar fashion, the moving average model, also abbreviated as MAQ, represents a time series by past errors. As you can see, the formulation of the moving average model is the same as the one for the autoregressive model, except for the lagged values in this summation. The idea behind this model is that we can maybe represent a time series by a constant mean value plus weighted past errors, because there may be similarities between present errors and past errors. For instance, knowing our prediction error of yesterday, we can try to tweak our model for today so that it acts on yesterday's error. One thing to note is that there are no confounding variables here, as opposed to the autoregressive model. You may say that the epsilons are confounding variables, but they are not, because they are mutually independent. Since the MAQ model doesn't have confounding components, we can use the autocorrelation function to determine the hyperparameter Q, whereas for the autoregressive model we have to use the partial autocorrelation function. A difficulty of the moving average model is that it's not straightforward to obtain estimates of the thetas. A positive note is that you will have to do it in the assignments. An instruction of the estimation procedure will be given. Usually the autoregressive model and the moving average model alone may not be powerful enough. So what about adding these two models together, literally? This results in the ARMA-PQ model. And as you can see from the model formulation, its formulation is a combination of the AR and the MA model. This model is most commonly used in practice, at least as a benchmark. If new time series models are being introduced, then the founders of the new model usually compares their new model to the ARMA model. And as a side note, the ARMA model also requires stationary time series data like the AR and the MA model. We can go even one step further in advancing our model. Consider the ARIMA model, which is basically a combination of differencing to stationarize our data, and the ARMA model. So actually there's not much new information here. Maybe one thing new is that the ARIMA model may apply differencing multiple times. Since the ARIMA model is an extension of the ARMA, which is an extension of the AR and the MA model, we have the following special cases. You can refer to the formula of these models to confirm these equalities. The hyperparameters of these models should be chosen beforehand. But how can we determine the best possible values for the hyperparameters? It's usually a matter of trial and error to choose a model from a range of suggestive models and then select the best one based on the so-called automatic model selection criteria, such as AIC or BIC. Alternatively, we can make use of the autocorrelation function and the partial autocorrelation function. Using these functions is a relatively easy way to detect the order of an AR or MA model, as we have seen before. However, for the ARMA model, the autocorrelation function and the partial autocorrelation function will decay slowly to zero. For complex datasets, the first approach is usually preferred, so making use of the model selection criteria such as AIC or BIC. Especially when we have multiple datasets, since it's easier to perform minimization than visual inspections of the two different autocorrelation functions. And maybe good to know, empirically the value for P and Q should usually be 3 or less. However, this is not a strict condition.